sexy bastards, and welcome to another episode of the Large Blast Podcast, Love Edition. I'm your host, Stoney, joined as always by the unscrupulous Matt.
I believe in a thing called love.
And the sexy Welshie.
Tainted love.
And we're here to talk to you today about all things 40k. And we like to kick things off with a little something we call Hobbies Goings On, where we take a look at some of the goings on that have been happening in the hosts' lives. So, Welshie, what's been going on in your life?
I've spent
Hobby-wise?
about 6 hours every day consuming all of the new media that's been released onto Warhammer Plus. It's just been insane.
Some more animations.
I'm joking. That's not even happened. I think there's been like one episode of something come out.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, just carrying on with that kill team, really. That's all I've really been up to this week. I haven't managed to find more than about, 10 minutes to kind of put some bits together and undercoat some bits if I get a chance some painting on the weekend. I'm down to the last guy. Now who's got the big old standard. It's the Militarum Tempestus. So he's got that it's a really good flag, but it's kind of been intimidating for a while because I've done contrast paints for the majority of the bodies, and then you get something that's quite big and detailed like the flag, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it with contrast paints, but that's kind of my challenge for the weekend, I think, working out how I'm going to best do that.
Getting a flag up and running.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, what about you? What have you been doing?
Pretty much the same as the last few episode hobby progresses for me, just working on
painting sisters, painting Bretonians.
Yeah, painting sisters, Bretonians, yeah.
Wasn't even painting, he was just playing with blue tack when he came up.
Yeah. Blue tacking some heads to a cork.
Nice.
Basically built my 2,000 point army now, so I just got to finish painting them. Yeah, and doing some Bretonians.
In some custom lore where they've like invaded a feral planet full of Bretonians that they also
that's right
along with them.
Turn up to a 40k tournament with the Bretonian army. Yeah, I think they'd get on because they
allowed women in the Bretonian ranks.
Yeah, because there's like the Lady of the Lake, the Fayentress, and
maybe there could be a bit
that fits in well with 40K.
Maybe the crossover could happen in the penitent engines where you've got some knight strapped in there, and that's where it starts to drift over to the Bretonians.
More peasants for the penitents.
Actually, there's a great Instagram account that does Bretonians, and he'd bought the Celestians, the ones with the big shields, and he'd took a load of those components and made them into like modern 28mm scale plastic Bretonians. And then he had taken the Triumph of St. Catherine, which is a crazy model with 6 battle sisters on a big marble floor carrying a reliquary. He'd converted that as a famous Bretonian model that is carrying a dead knight with a few peasants. Can't remember, a grail, like a dead grail knight, which they go on eBay now for about £200. And he'd converted that Sisters of Battle model into that old metal model of Bretonians. Really well done. There's a big crossover, besides the fact that they've got fleur-de-lis all over them.
Nice. What about you, Stoney? What have you been up to?
Absolutely nothing. Let's do the news.
Host of the show.
It's the news. Wow. It's the chuffing news.
Have you heard 6s are now 4s?
It's the news.
Gene Stealer Limo's back.
News. So, Garrow, Knight of Grey, by friend of the show, James Swallows. So if you'll remember, a little while ago, we interviewed this guy. And if you're a Swallow boy like we are, then you'll be excited to see that he's been up to his writing tricks again, getting Garrow out as one of his most famous and favorite characters, and he's back again. So let's hear about what we know about this.
Yeah, very early days, apparently. It's one of the side novels, the kind of smaller ones, I think, that come out alongside the main story at the moment. From the kind of blurb, it looks like it's going to be excellent. It's going to be the showdown everyone's been waiting for since Garrow saved the universe, depending on how you look at it, on the Eisenstein, and now he's coming face to face with his old papa, Mortarion. So, really interesting to see how this turns out, because you've got all of the Garrow Grey Knights kind of rumors and stuff for years. And, you know, what's the outcome of this fight going to be? If Mortarion just smashes him, that kind of puts those rumors to bed. And yeah, I think this is going to be quite an exciting turning point potentially, or confirmation point in 40k lore.
Oh, it's epic, isn't it? As you say, it's like he's fighting his genetic father.
Yeah,
his Primarch. That's really cool. Yeah.
Well, he wasn't though. He was. I mean, Garrow was around before the Primarchs, wasn't he?
He was.
But they have the
from
gene
them.
seed.
But you're right. I think he was of Terra, wasn't he? He wasn't of Barbarous. But yeah.
But either way, I feel like Garrow, whatever happens, they can't kill him off. Even if he gets like really fucked up, I feel like they'll leave it ambiguous. Like if he gets smashed up at the end, they'll be like, oh, he was buried under a pile of rocks, but then a hand popped out of the pile of rocks and it says the end and a question mark. And, you know.
I'm super excited about this actually. You know, I'm properly into the Black Library, and I think this showdown should be really good. And it's nice, I think, that we spoke at length. Listen back to it if you haven't already, to James Swallow. And you know, he basically is the mastermind behind this character, so it's nice that he gets to kind of tell this final tale, and it hasn't been rolled into one of the other novels and kind of fallen upon a different author. So should be great.
I think he's done every Garrow novel, hasn't he?
Pretty much. I think like the standalone ones, I think Garrow appears in a couple of other things, perhaps. I could be wrong, but yeah, the vast majority. It also confirmed one other thing in there, that I don't know if they said this before, but the next one, which I believe is Aaron Dembski-Bodum in the main series, Echoes of Eternity, they've used the word penultimate, which I'm not sure they had before. So that kind of confirms that there is one more, and then the big finale, which is exciting. Probably within the year, I'd imagine.
So computer games, Dark Tide. It's by the guys that made Vermintide. That was a cool ass game where you ran around kicking shit out of Skaven. Well, now you can do it in the 40k universe where you play as a big Ogryn and kicking shit out of Nurgle dudes. Looks pretty sick. It's just had a bunch of pre-release stuff happened and people seem excited about it. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah, it looks great. I've just watched the trailer for the first time. It came out a month ago. I remember when they previewed this at Warhammer Fest or something about 6 months ago. And I remember just being intrigued by the characters. They didn't show much more. Like, your band of heroes is like a woman that looks like she belongs in the Sisters with a power hammer, Ogryn fella, Militarum Tempestus, and then some cool looking Psyker dude. I'd definitely be the cool looking Psyker dude, I think.
Well, you would imagine they've got the standard roles. One of them can like heal a bit and is a bit flaky. One of them is like big and strong and like, you know, all the rest of that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, this looks cool. We've said a million times when people do computer games, they've got to get the setting and stuff right in terms of 40k. It's got to feel like you're wandering around a place in 40k. And this feels very grimdark.
It does.
Very cool like that. They've kind of, it's one of those things where they've kind of copped out a little bit by making it all zombies. It's all, you've got to fight Nurgle zombies all over the place, and it fit that. So that's a bit like, oh well, you've got to fight zombies in a million other fucking computer games, isn't it? Just in a so I hope it's not just fighting zombies in a 40k setting.
It did look like there's a little kind of bit of kind of classic cultists in there, as well as the kind of day-to-day infected people. But
I am hoping for some big slimy beasts and shit like that.
Yeah, I'm sure there would be some sort of chaos demon. Yeah, I'm quite intrigued by the idea of fighting Nurgle zombies, though. I like that. But for me, anything where they show planets, whole planets within 40k and the size of hive cities that you see just in the trailer, I'm sold. You're right. Perfectly. I love seeing it.
Imagining of what a hive city looks like.
Big
train going into it for sure. Yeah, if I had any way to play this, I would certainly be playing it.
So Kill Team, the intriguing miasma that is Kill Team, has tickled our fancy once again with some new models. We've got Imperial Navy / Kroot going on. This is mad. Kill Team have been flexing all over the place with these weird model releases they've been doing. And this is another one that they've like, it's out of nowhere. Who thought the Imperial fucking Navy were going to show up?
About time.
And Kroot, and a whole box set full of personalized Kroot.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Get out of town, Games Workshop.
Yeah. This is a big surprise. Matt, I know you're going to want to talk about these
Oh,
navies.
it's so epic. I love. Yeah, I mean, it's about time. The Imperial Navy is, well, I guess after the Guard, is probably the biggest military organization in the galaxy. It's the most powerful space fleet in the galaxy, and yet they have almost no representation on the board. There was one Imperial Guard figure that you could have that was like a master of the fleet, where it would stop reinforcements coming in for your enemy army. That was quite a smart uniform that he wore, but these are fucking excellent. Boarding, I mean, you kind of have them in some of the Forge World Space Marines, but these are human-sized, big, chunky shotguns, shields, a classic. And this is the kind of stuff that you see all the time in computer game trailers and animation stuff, because the conflicts in 40K for a large part start in space, or they kind of end in space.
Oh, yeah.
And it's weird how there's it's not really represented on the 40K game board as much, considering the galaxy is a very big space and there's more space than there is planets.
These guys, they've got guns, they've got shields, they've got armor and stuff, but they look like they could throw this down and pick up a spanner and start turning a bunch of nuts and bolts in a second.
I love their boots. They've got like, they look to me like, when we say parts of models don't need a description, these look like mag boots. I haven't read this, but I'm 100% sure that those are mag boots for securing yourself to the space hold. And that's just cool.
Kroot's looking fucking good as well. They've got lots of people wanted the Kroot, and then you get these little tasters, these little sprinklings of stuff coming through in these kill team boxes. And these are way cool Kroot. A bit very Avatar-y.
Yes. But a couple of interesting points. It means now that the Tau army have basically got two kill teams, which is quite cool. Because there's a Tau kill team and there's this kill team. It's cool that as a small Xenos race get a range. We go on and on about the Kroot in the Tau episode, but also there's the sub Kroot animal, one of the sub Kroot animal species in a plastic model, which is great to see. That's cool. It's really cool.
It's great. And the other good thing about this, when models. I did read the blurb, was that it's although it is kill team and it's kind of the kill team rules, the box set is set up to be like a kind of standalone game. So if you're not really into playing full kill team, I think you can kind of buy this box and just play this as a kind of standard box set, which is cool, because I'm never going to collect a Tau army, and I'm never going to have an Imperial Navy army. That's not even possible. Yeah. So this is
I'm going to buy this. I'm buying it. Games Workshop. This is the best reaction I've had to to a product for a long time. I'm sold. I'm buying it.
But that's where, we haven't really talked a whole lot about Kill Team, except for their awesome model boxes that they've done. Until now, this feels like a real slap in the face now from Kill Team to be like, we've got to wake up to the fact they exist, because they've done this. They've fucking gone under our radar a couple of times with these sneaky boxes. And I remember when Kill Team came out and everyone was well excited. They're like, I'm going to play Kill Team. It's like Warhammer 40,000, but it takes 40 minutes. And then like everyone was just like, nah, Kill Team shit. And then that was the last I heard of Kill Team. And now all of a sudden it's like bam, 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 fucking shit hot release. Shit hot release.
We had the Death Corps of Krieg and those amazing orcs. That was crazy. What are those sisters that you got, Matt? Those things are amazing. Mad.
Yeah. That's the Tau set.
The Traitor Guard models and the Chaos Guard. They were
of course. Yeah.
Well, and the rumors, because I think the rumors were on the Guard pages that because they had a sneak preview before they dropped this, and everyone was saying it was going to be the Kaskan models, the new stormtroopers, are going to be in a kill team, but this, like, I don't think anyone was expecting them to be Navy. Really cool.
Even when it started, when Kill Team started, I've just checked because I couldn't believe that this was also a Kill Team box. But I've just looked at my pile of shame, which I've used bits from. Rogue Trader, that was Kill Team when it came out, with the Rogue Traders with the dog and
they were
medicine woman and the nightmare Nurgle demon things.
Really, they're amazing set.
Well done, Kill Team, for bringing out great boxes of models.
We're not sleeping on Kill Team anymore. We've got no desire to play the game, but we will throw money at the models. Cool. So squats or Leagues of Voltan. We all knew they were going to be small, but how small? We've just seen a comparison picture of how the squats are going to look when they're out there on the battlefield, and they're minuscule. Surely this is like Games Workshop trying to fight the increase of plastic costs, selling you smaller models. Who knows? Are they coming squads of 20? Let's find out now. Welshie, fill us in.
I think it's just an army for the environmentally conscious, perhaps.
Yes.
And the saving oil these days. But
to beat the sprue.
Yeah.
They make the Primaris bigger. They make the rest of the Rangers smaller.
Yeah. So it says that we've got an official height measurement for the law that they are an average of 4 feet. So what's a Space Marine, like 9? 7 to 9,
8.
something like that.
Yeah.
They kind of do look a bit ridiculous. It almost makes me, I know we haven't been hot or happy about them, but it makes me like them more because they're so tiny. When I thought they were kind of big and chunky and curvy and round, I'm still not massively fan of them, but I think the size has really kind of kept that cartoonish feel.
Yeah. And we're looking at the picture comparing the size with the Primaris Ultramarine, and he looks immediately less Space Marine-y.
I am gonna now. I know that I haven't said a good word about the new squats range since the podcast, since I've been talked about it on the podcast, but I'm gonna do a wiki what a fucking 180 on this. Like Welshie, every time we do something, you've got that you keep saying, oh, I think we're all in agreement that we all like the old squats range stuff that looks like the old squats range. I've never said that. I don't like that stuff. I think it looks fucking bobbins. I'm like, but this new stuff I thought looked shit initially, but now I've seen some more of it. Like, I don't like the bike still, but these new, like, there's just new standard soldier guy with like the flap on his head, like one of those bins that you get. Like, I kind of like it.
Like one of those kitchen bin.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like the Space Marine could just flip his helmet.
Probably do. When they've got the flap down, they look like fucking haunted flip bins, running around with guns.
Didn't we say, aren't some of these guys toughness 4 as well when we looked at the stats?
Yeah.
Can you imagine being a Space Marine and like punching one of these guys and being like, oh shit, they're as tough as I am. That's not what I expected.
Well, who said size didn't matter?
Well, it doesn't if you can strap on one of these suits that they've released now.
We've got some more. We've got the fucking the Leagues of Voltan power armor here. Like Terminator guys. These
I'm here half guard. I'm here half guard.
I'm here half guard. I'm all right, but they're good.
All of the words for this new squat range are extremely difficult to read, pronounce. They look weird. Squats in exo armor were always a thing. They were basically like dwarves in barrels, weren't they? These have got far more detail, as you'd expect. I'm not a fan. I think, and I said I'd show you guys this picture when I was chatting to you in the week. If you're listening to this, look up a picture of the new Lightyear film about Buzz Lightyear from Pixar, and their armor looks identical to Pixar space armor, and I think that basically sums up why I don't like it.
I quite like the exo suit. It to me it looks like something from a early 20th century sci-fi.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't care about it. It's like a big man on top of a small man, a big robot man on top of a small man. And it's like, it's a bit like, do you remember I can't remember when it was, but Matt, we were taking the piss out of you when you made your own like faction or whatever. We're like, oh, this character is called Matimus Bigamus Dickamus Matimus, and he's got like big muscles or whatever. I feel this is a bit like squats projecting because they've put muscles and shit on this big robo man. They haven't, like, what function does that serve? They've put, like, you know what I mean, if you get in like a big robo man and it's got like a big cock on and fucking massive bulging biceps and stuff, then it's like, what you trying to say, robo man? Like, what's this all about? Like, you know, at least make it, I feel like needs to be a bit more functional. I'm not feeling it. I don't really care about it, on the other hand. So I don't know. But that said, I like their main soldier dudes, their main troops. I've come round to that. I'm still not a massive fan of this like big man suit that these guys are wearing.
Fair. I've just noticed something.
Yeah.
Do you remember that long time ago when everything was getting rebooted, and I think it was when they released Zeraz, there was that Inquisitor that we hated. the bald lady with the stupid dragon on her shoulder, and she had a really kind of finely crafted mini power fist. It's the same power fist design as these things. Maybe she nabbed it off some squats she's known all along about them.
Cool. So more Primarchs have been dropped. Well, at least one new Primarch, the biggest, the angriest of all the fucking Primarchs, Angry Ron, or Angeron, as he's known to his close personal buddies. And his model's come down to some pretty, came out of nowhere, really. I don't think any of us were expecting that. I mean, we were all expecting Fulgrim, as you guys know, long-time listeners. And we're not angry about the fact that they haven't done Fulgrim. I know. I haven't been writing letters to fucking Mr. James Workshop trying to get his fucking view on all of this, I'll tell you. But either way, Angeron's here. That means we know Berserkers are on their way. What do you guys think about the new Angeron model? What do you guys think about what's going on with the Khorne stuff?
Well, it's a good question. And I think if people really want to know what we think about the Angeron model, they should check out Large Blast Podcast YouTube if they haven't already, because there will soon be a full reaction where we basically say it's not as good as Kabanda.
It is true. I mean, I feel like I've got a certain amount of Khorne love in my heart, you know. It's like, and I poured some of it out for Kabanda, and now Angeron's here, and I've got no more Khorne love left in my heart.
I don't know, guys. It's Angeron. He's a demon prince of Khorne. Yeah. I mean, there's only one way he's gonna look.
I mean, do we know what he's going to play like on the battlefield? Surely he's just going to rip through everything. It's like, people do that thing where sometimes when a new Primarch comes out, they do like, will the Avatar of Cain beat Mortarion or whatever? Surely Angeron's just going to be like, if he gets the first turn, it's just like a fucking lawnmower through a fucking goddamn begonia field.
I'd hope they bring back a blast template just for him. That's a kind of 6-inch wedge that you just put in front of him to the edge of the board, and everything under it is dead.
I mean, it'd be amazing if he just had like a 25, something ridiculous, like a 25-inch charge move in the first turn, but then he can't move in the second turn. So like you can point him in a direction, send him hurtling through, but then you kind of get a move restriction in your next turn. Yeah, he's got to go in like a ton of
bat out of hell. That's what they should play.
Bat out of hell. Yeah.
If you want to know what we really think, then go over to the youtube.com. www.youtube.com/largeblastpodcast #Angeron.
Yeah, that's
see you there, baby.
YOUTUBE.com.
Rate, comment, and subscribe.
Rolling in my 6-4.
Hello, bachelors and bachelorettes here of the Large Blast podcast. We all know how difficult it is to find love, to find the one true one in the 40,000 dweebs that stink up the Games Workshop. Well, let me tell you now, it's only going to get harder in the future, which is why we here at Games Workshop are looking into what it would be like to date in the year 40,000. If you had Tinder and you fired it up in the year 40K, who would you see? And would you swipe right or would you swipe left? But let's fire up future Tinder and see who we find.
First up there is Pedro Cantor, leader of the Crimson Fist, chapter master, I believe. Are we going to swipe left or right? That was very quick, Matt. What is it about him?
He's got a bloody fist. Where's the fist been?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That is true. Plus, isn't he like the last remaining guy from the Crimson Fist? That guy's got to be packed to the gills with PTSD. He's like the only guy left.
Yeah. What will happen when he's got a couple of stellas in him?
Yeah, that bloody fist.
Cool. Yeah, okay. What do you think his profile pic would be like? He'd be there with just like a dripping fist in the air, just like blood of the enemies dripping off.
It's just loads of shirt off pics of him taken in a mirror.
But he's got his red power fist on with blood.
Okay, right. So we go left, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's out of here.
Next to pop onto our Vox screen is Farseer Eldrad Uthwan.
So what? Is he like the really old guy?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So he probably knows a couple of tricks or two. He was around when the Dark Eldar fell. So before that, he was probably fucking a good deal. He's just like, now all of a sudden the Dark Eldar popped up and he's like, Nah, what you talking about? I was at none of them orgies. So I don't know.
I
what
reckon
you're
he's moved
Yeah.
into the tantric stuff, like Sting.
Yeah,
You know, he's
got
gone
all
beyond
spiritual with it.
physical pleasure.
He's gone all sex. He's a big old sex geek.
Well, I mean, if he's gone full Sting, then I'm going left.
You need that physical contact.
Yeah,
you need to be
contact.
touching those.
I mean, that's why
ears.
we're on Tinder. Yeah, come on, we're on Tinder for physical.
Listen,
And
I'm
what about if
gonna
you-
I'm gonna go right and keep him as a side project, like over time, until
right.
it eventually milks
Yeah,
my
yeah.
prostate to some shuddering orgasm that breaks a planet in half.
Well, I'm going to go right just because I think you could convince him to be your sugar daddy. I reckon he's pretty loaded. Okay, next up on Tinder, it's Inquisitor Gregor Eisenhorn.
I'm going to go right.
I'm going to go right straight away. That jawline,
I'm going
those
left.
eyes.
Eisenhorn doesn't fuck once in any of those books.
Oh, yes, he does. He is banging Beckwin repeatedly. Yeah,
I've read
just
only
behind the
one.
scenes.
I've read only one of the books. He didn't bang once. He didn't like. At no point in it was he like, "Oh, I've bought you a nice load of flowers for the guy that swiped right for him on Tinder." Never once in that book, or did he?
Okay, well, the next one, it doesn't have a name. It's just popped up. It's orange. It's furry. It's a Jacaro.
Yeah,
Just looking
strike
at
going right. He can tinker with my bits any day.
He's got a big finger.
Listen,
funny
I'll do a
glasses.
lot of things, and maybe if I live to the year 40,000, I'll do a lot more things. But I can't see it in my foreseeable future that I'm going to bang an orangutan. So I'm going to have to go left.
Even a really clever one.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go left too. Just
It's just
despite
me and the
finger.
orangutan.
Next up, he's little and he's green and he's a lucky git, but will you get lucky with him tonight? It's Macarai.
Well, he is lucky. He's probably quite a good laugh because he doesn't really have any kind of sense of fear or need to have any kind of sense of self-preservation because he's a. It'd be like hanging out with one of the Jackass guys. It'd be like Steve going out with Steve-O.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perhaps you just go on a friend date with him. Just have a good time.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah.
think it'd be a laugh.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going to go right. He's used to
I'm gonna
big
go
guys.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd go on a date with Macarai.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's lucky, so I assume everyone swipes right. He's not going to get any left swipes, is he?
Well, that's it.
Cool.
Does he
Right,
get
there we
lucky
go.
every time?
Macarai.
Does that mean am I going to be wooed by Macarai? Is that what's going to happen?
I think that's just going to happen. Yeah.
You already have been.
Yeah, you've
Good,
you've
done.
already started. Next up, then, our first female of our Tinder profile. We've argued whether or not she's a demon. It's Saint Celestine.
Right.
Got to be right.
It's gotta be
Yeah.
right. It's gotta
Yeah.
be right, mainly just because the chances of there being many more women on here this
Yeah.
evening are very, very low. Bit scary though. Bit much to handle. She's
Oh,
lit-
yeah. I mean, she
got
would
wings
fucking
and
hate me.
glowing white
But
eyes.
I'm going on that date, like, nevertheless. And she'd be so out of my league. She'd be so rich. We'd have to meet at like a health spa or something like that, and get go for some weird couples date where you get hot rocks put on your back or something. She'd be
Yeah.
well into it.
wow.
I'd be
What do
like,
you think
oh,
she'd-
like all the toxins are leaving my body, and I worked so hard to get them in there. Like,
What do you think she'd think of all your tattoos?
she'd think they look fucking sick, like every other girl on the planet.
So yeah, definite right. Next up, then we've seen a bloody fist, we've seen a long finger, but we've yet to see a claw, a shocker claw. It's Commissar Sebastian Yarrick.
No.
That was the sound of Matt ejaculating. Do you think the claw comes off? Do you think
Not
he
in the
unscrews
bedroom.
it?
No,
before bed?
no. I think I don't because it's bonded by the he's lost his arm, didn't he? So I think it's probably on there. So yeah, maybe it unclips. Who knows? We're not going to find out anyway.
Would be like hanging out with like a drunk relative at Christmas time, where he'd keep saying like mildly racist shit that just made you went
Yeah.
like, ooh,
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
Like, did you,
yeah.
what? Did you just?
Did
you'd
he
have to
say
double
that?
take like all the shit that he said, because it would all just be like he's just kind of like a little bit too fashy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I think I'd be a no for him as well. Left for him. Okay, it says we've only got 2 more swipes left on our
Oh, the
non-premium
limit,
account.
daily limit.
Yeah,
Free
we're,
trial.
Yeah.
we're reaching our daily
God,
limit.
I remember when they brought that in. Can you remember the days when you could go right?
Next up then is Gazgul Magaruk Thraka. We can only see half of his face on the picture because I don't think he's managed to work the selfie, but what
Listen,
are we
I'm
thinking?
going right.
Yeah.
I'm going
Yeah.
right just for the hang. Because I reckon
Yeah, he would
like
be
with
a really
Macaray,
fun hang. Yeah, he'd be
because
fun.
it'd be a laugh. We could like, he's
Yeah.
got one of his arms is a fucking gun. We could go and shoot
Yeah.
stuff. Just like we wouldn't even need to go and get guns. It would be a laugh.
Yeah, you could take him on a date to the driving range, and you'd just try and shoot all the holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be great. It'd be a great laugh. As long as like you made some kind of deal beforehand.
Any kind of video of him or lore thing is always laughing.
Yeah.
So yeah, he knows how to have a good time.
Orcs like reproduce in kind of like a fart type scenario anywhere where they guff out like a bunch of spores. Because if being like in a relationship with Gazgul Freka meant that you just hung out with Gazgul and you just farted at each other every now and again, and that was the extent of it, then I'd be like, yeah, let's do it, Gazgul. Let's go polygamy. Me and you will guff around together, and then I'll be off with Celestine over here in our loveless husk of a relationship that we've developed.
Where she stares unblinking into my eyes. Yeah. Okay, well, it was our last swipe, so I hope it's a good one. It's another second woman. Very exciting. It is Shadow Sun, Commander Shadow Sun of the Tau Empire. It's a bit strange. I'm going right. I want to see what you can do with that head.
The orifice in the head. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, fuck it. I want to know what that does too. I mean, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I want to get some of that octopus pussy. I'm doing it. Yeah, for sure. I want to see what's down there.
What about the hooves? Would you make them keep her shoes on?
Take them off, baby. Expose the hooves.
Right, well, there we are. I think we'll wonder whether any of them will get back to us at any point.
Base.
Listen up, sports fans. It's another hellacious display of wrestling from the Large Blast podcast wrestling section, where we pit two 40k characters against each other in the squared circle and see who will be victorious. And today we've got two of the universe's most sinister bastards. Urian Rakov, the homunculus of the Dark Elder, versus Fabius Bile, the fool and apothecary of the Emperor's Children. So who's going to win? So who do you guys think is going to win in this Battle of the Weird Medics?
Round one. Fight.
Battle of the backpacks, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Battle of the backpacks.
Yeah.
Spider backpacks. One's got a metal spider backpack and the other one's got kind of some arms stitched together coming out of his
Battle
back.
of the sickly looking hairdos.
I think this would shape up more like a Pokemon fight where they'd be releasing their little creations to fight each other rather than actually fighting each other.
You know, if
Right
I
in the
was
middle.
on the Large Blast podcast wrestling staff, I would be very worried about the cleanup from this fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of goo shot out, I reckon, from both. Whatever happens, there's going to be goo going all over the place.
And I think they're probably both quite immune to lots of the goo as well. You can imagine them shooting like their various syringes in each other's eye and it just kind of melting a bit and then growing back.
They get together in the middle. They both stab each other in the eye with a poison, and then they both stab each other. They both stab themselves in their other eye with the antidote to the poison, and immediately grow back their eyes.
And Rakov rides round on those. He's always got his pet. I looked up what they are actually just now. Hemivores. They're like giant leeches, so they're probably going to be in play.
Oh, wicked. Yeah.
They're kind of leechy boys.
Well, I mean,
in reality, if they get to each other, Bile's got it right. He's still a space marine.
If we're talking about just straightforward clout in terms of the lore and stuff like that, then it's got to be Fabius Bile, right? He's been in it from the fucking beginning. He's been in 30k. I don't remember hearing about Raxillion or whatever in any of the, 30k books or anything like that, right?
No, I don't think so. He's old. Yeah, I think if it just Fabius would smash him if they get actually close, but he's a tricksy bastard. You know, he's got some leeches.
Well, that's just
he is
it.
a space marine.
It's got some shurikens.
But you never know what's going on. If you get a hold of a Dark Eldar homunculus, you never know what's going to pop out of it. You might be like, oh, I'm a space marine, I'll give it a squeeze, but it might turn out you squeeze it and it's like one of those stress balls, and then he's behind you. There's another one behind you, and then he kicks you in the nuts or something. So, I mean, it's they're tricksy. You might be like, oh, I know we're saying, oh, he's a space marine, but the whole point is they're tricksy. They didn't survive this long by being weak, by being softer than space marines,
Maybe there'd be a lot of chat. Maybe like we said about Transit and Cool, they might just be interested in, oh, that's a nice arm you've got in your pocket.
That's true, but this is the squared circle, Welshie. We might have let one guys get off of it by being goddamn brainiac nerds, but this is different. This is a fight to the death. Who's going to win out of these two?
Fabius gets to him and crushes his skull with a hand.
All right.
Maybe he's got a second skull and he crushed that too.
Yeah. Maybe they're all doing like loads of flashy genome shit, and then Fabius he sees an opening and just grabs him and crushes him. I think that suits. I was going to say, what if he, if he managed to inject him with some gene shit in the changing room or something, back alley. Shit.
Or a bit of Novichok on the door handle.
I think that in terms of chemistry, being evil chemistry bastards, they're kind of on a level pegging. So it's got to come down to might makes right in this situation, because they're kind of drawn swords in terms of their brain power. So in that case, Fabius takes it, I reckon, rips him to sunder.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You win.
Cool. So picture the scene. The year is 40,000. You've been blinded by a terrible explosion after your planet was exterminatus, and now you're ready to hit the dating scene again. So you go to blind date, and you ask a couple of questions of a couple of lively young 40k bachelors and bachelorettes. What would they be? How would it go down? Let's find out now, shall we? Bachelor number one. Who have we got?
We've got the Emperor's Champion from Terra.
Emperor's Champion, and what question are we going to ask him to see if he's ready to win this blind date?
What do you do to have fun?
He replenishes the candle wax.
Scrapes it off of his boots, builds it back into emperor-shaped candles.
Yeah, I don't know. He has like an all-night bender praying.
I think he'd answer something like, fun is for the weak. We don't have fun.
Yeah.
Fun
is for the heretic.
Souls.
Yeah.
If I'm not slaying heretics, I'm
he'd
one
slay the questioner. How dare you talk to me about fun?
He's got a game of Monopoly stowed away in his boot cupboard, and he whips himself for it every night.
Risky, yeah.
All right, okay. Next bachelor
is Sly Marbo, fresh from Catachan. What's your idea of the perfect marriage proposal?
He'd throw a stick bomb and it would like blow up, and it would blow up in confetti, and the ring would be in the bomb. But it would go horribly wrong, and he'd blow up his bride to be.
You could do the classic, like, oh, there's a ring inside a piece of cake, where it's like you go out and you kill like a woolly mammoth, and you're just about to pull its heart out, and you find, oh, what's this? A wedding ring inside this woolly mammoth?
Catachan devil.
What about if the person he was proposing to was the other side of a battle, and he took out a ring because he is Sly Marbo, and he threw it, and like a bullet in slow motion, it went through head after head after head after head, and just landed at the feet of the person he was proposing to, and then everyone just falls aside, and he's stood there. Oh, well, he's kneeling down actually as they all die.
Yeah.
I feel like he could do that. He was Sly Marbo.
I think he'd do all of those three things
at the same time.
Yeah.
As he proposes to each one of his mistresses simultaneously.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, next bachelor.
Next bachelor is someone who's been on the market for quite a while. He goes by the name of Malkador the Sigillite. And we'd like to know, if you could be a circus performer, what act would you like to be?
Oh, he's doing all the dodgy palm reading and stuff, surely.
Do you think he's just kind of stroking people's greasy palms?
But he'd be like actually really good at. He'd be like the one guy you go to, and it'd be like you actually get the entire.
Mystic Meg. Yeah.
I mean, Darren Brown would try and show him up on TV, and he'd just get his head popped like a microwave.
But he's cut in a way, like he's kind of like the Emperor's jester, funny little man.
What about juggling on the back of an elephant? Do you reckon he could manage it? He could at least make everyone think he
could do
is.
that.
I think you're right though, Stoney. I think he would just be in a corner, decrepit, reading palms.
Yeah. Or maybe one of those guys that hammers nails into their nose cavity. Anyway, next bachelor.
Known as a bit of a rebel, Commander Farsight.
That's Tau.
How? A cashier gives you too much money back. What do? I think he wouldn't give it back. I think he'd take it. He'd run with it.
No,
buy a new gun.
No, he'd slowly, he'd sort of slowly, without knowing the daily management and macroeconomics of the shop, until one day he was running the shop. That's what the Tau Empire does, and he'd do the same thing, but
clandestine takeover.
Yeah, clandestine takeover.
See, I think that he needs the Tau Empire to do all of that kind of stuff. I reckon he'd take that and immediately spend it on something frivolous and fucking stupid, like a streamer hat with like beer holders in or something, you know.
A beer holder for a suit.
Yeah, a beer holder suit with clocks on it. Next bachelor or bachelorette, baby? Who knows?
Next up is Khan the Betrayer. And we'd like to ask him, what's your typical bedtime routine?
Oh man.
I imagine it involves skulls.
Yeah, I just imagine him. He's one of the kids that doesn't want to go to bed. Someone's like, "You gotta go to bed, Khan. You gotta go to bed." He's like, "No, no!" Running around the house with his axes, slaying everyone.
Have you seen those adverts where it's like, "Oh, is there blood in when you spit when you brush your tooth at night?" This one would be like, "Is there not enough blood in your mouth after you like go to bed? Like, buy new Khan's blood-based toothpaste."
You can imagine him like most people stopping when they get a little bit of blood in their toothpaste, and he just keeps going.
He's brushing his teeth with his axe.
Enamel for the dentist gods. Well, he's got mini fresh breath when he shows up on that date, though. It's going to be a weird date with Khan. You know that much.
Yeah.
All right, next bachelor.
He's big. He's red. He's Magnus. If you could trade places with anyone for a day, who would it be and why?
Oh, it would be the Emperor, so he knew why the Emperor didn't tell him.
Straight in with the Emperor. I think he'd want to be one of his more loved brothers. Although he was really loved, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, if you were a big red Cyclops, you'd probably want to be like someone that would blend in a bit better.
More
see how the other half lives.
Eyes.
Yeah.
He's one of those people that he's never gone to the park to play football. He's never gone to a shop. He's never gone to the cinema, because wherever he goes, everyone's like, "Fuck, it's Magnus."
And like David Beckham goes into the rainforest and no one knows who he is. Wearing Beckham shirt.
Exactly.
But he's also spent his life in pursuit of the mystical, otherworldly shit. It's kind of if he doesn't find out, I think he'd want to find out about that, use it, and, be the Emperor or someone. Because
I think he'd want to be. I think he'd want to be the Emperor. Find out why.
Quite a lot of Emperor's secrets.
Or what about?
But what about? I think he might want to be like the Silent King. Think of all the shit the Silent King knows, that from the old ones and the time before and the battles of the heavens. Loads of old interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I think he wants to be Chris Angel, the mind freak. One more bachelor, last bachelor. Let's see who we've got coming out of the stalls.
We have a very greasy and dirty looking fella by the name of Conrad Kurz. And the question for him is, do you believe in karma?
I mean, he does, to kind of a sickening extent, really.
I think not to the extent that he'd stop him doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
He knows his retribution's coming.
Yeah, but that's kind of it, though, isn't it? I mean, he believes in karma to oh, you've tickled my foot, I hit you with a hammer, kind of karma, So, well, our end advice is, don't go out with none of them. They're all a bad batch. We'll see you next time on the love episode of the Large Blast podcast.
Check this out. You know the deal.
Welcome back, everybody, to this part of the show. You know what time it is. You've been waiting for it. It's the random topic generator. We'll let Lady Luck decide our fate with the roll of the company dice, which Welshie has kept away at lock and key in his house in Brighton. So, Welshie, unlock
It's
that
a 3. What would you like to see more of in White Dwarf?
Cardboard fucking tubes.
Stuff made out of cardboard tubes and whatnot.
CFT. I know what you mean, Matt. You mean how to build terrain from rubbish.
Homemade, homemade, original 1990s scenery tutorial shit. Excellent. Best terrain you can get.
Yeah. In these days of needing recycling and stuff. Imagine how much like rubbish plastic we could get out of the ocean if every Games Workshop player started making fucking old milk bottles and stuff.
Oh, mate.
Like
Imagine how big they could make the squats if we saved all that plastic.
Yeah. No, I've got at my mum's house, I've got some plastic dishes, right, that I brought home from France on a holiday with an ex-girlfriend and her family. You know, before university, back in the days of college, I found this shit on a beach. And I thought, man, this thing looks like a radar dish. And they must have thought I was absolutely insane because I picked this crap off the beach. And I brought it home in my suitcase,
all the way from France,
and I still have this thing from France. Yeah, and I go in the shed in the shed that I used to paint Warhammer in. I go in there and I think, man, that thing just looks like a radar dish. I mean, this thing looks like a radar. It's amazing, and it's like broken. One day it will get. One day it's been waiting for a long time.
I can't believe you've still got it.
A radar dish.
I've had a load of dishwasher packaging from when we got our kitchen done that looked a bit like good terrain.
Polystyrene.
Stashed it under a folding bed. And the other day we folded the bed away and it just snapped it all. I got real sad. It's just, I could get more, but you know, I've been.
Can it not be like a broken building now? Like it's been hit by a missile?
No, it was like a really good wall defense system. Anyway, my White Dwarf thing would be a game changer for me. I buy it sometimes, occasionally. I know Matt gets it monthly. I would like them to split it into 6 40k issues and 6 not 40k issues, because my biggest resentment with White Dwarf is paying quite a lot of money for a magazine, which I'm only really half interested in. The painting's cool to see the Sigmar stuff, but I'm just not interested in any of the text. So that's what I'd do if I was running White Dwarf. I'd just split it that way.
Well, I haven't read White Dwarf for ages, but one of the things that I used to love about the old White Dwarf that I'd love to see in any kind of White Dwarf, so shoot me down if this actually happens, but that is fucking cool ass battle reports that have like a little story that people write that goes along with it. So like someone writes, so it's like 2 of the writers for White Dwarf play each other, and one of them writes a little bio about their little turn one of them writes a little bio about their little turn one, and then they've got like a random piece of text that some random person on the staff, not even credited in the goddamn thing, has written about, like, oh, you know, it's an old one, so it'd be like, oh, Gazgul Fraker looked at the you know, Imperial Guard land speeder, which only occurred in this very specific time period, and then you know, all the rest of it,
like real nerdy stuff.
Real nerdy. So they've got a lovely little flavor text before every turn. Those shits were fucking awesome, and they do like a little MS Paint map where they've got all the units where they've moved to on the board, and they've got an explosion on when they shoot each other and stuff. That shit was fucking cool. If we ever got that. If we ever do battle reports on our YouTube channel, that's what we're doing, boys. I'm deciding right now.
Yeah, they've got better at battle reports again recently, I think. Like, actually, they've kind of done competitive ones, but it's very real world. I know what you want, Stoney. You want the battle report written up from the battle, and you're right, that doesn't really happen, and that's cool.
That was what was really cool, is because they'd have somebody writing. So let's say it's Gav Thorpe versus James Swallow or something like that. Clash of the Titans. It would be like a little thing of Gav being like, I rolled a 2 on my to hit thing, and then a little thing of James being like, I rolled a 6 on my armor save or whatever. And then it would be like, you know, then it would like the mists would fade away and there'd be someone being like, and Gasgol did try to hit his hammer down pond. Like, it was really cool.
So take the current battle reports out of the real world tournament and fade them drastically into
I'm
lore
saying, why
and
not
joy.
both? One
Okay.
hand washes the other.
Yeah.
I'm with you. There we are.
Cool.
Take that on board, guys.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the last part of the show. Yeah.
Cool.
Just the last part of the show here, last part, right?
Is it the
Yeah.
Lords of Law? Is that what we normally do?
We do normally do the Lords of Law, you're right, which is like a quiz that we normally do. But let me ask you this, Welshie. Have you made a Lords of Law this week?
No, I haven't.
You haven't. Matt, have you made a Lords of Law this week?
Yeah, I have. Haven't you?
Well, in that case, you have won the Lords of Law because you have
Oh, no.
in a kind of apprentice style who can show initiative. You have written a Lords of Law, and therefore you have won the Lords of Law, as per usual, Matt. And
no.
shake this bottle
every
of
bloody week.
complimentary champagne that I said.
I can never get that last question right, even if it's also the first one.
All right, well, thanks everybody for listening. I've been your host, Stoney. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.